Have you ever thought about the world as teeming with invisible life, far beyond what our eyes can perceive? Stop scrolling for a moment and let me take you on an epic journey. A quest, not into the stars, but into the infinitesimally small, to the very birth of microbiology. You may think the microscope is a modern marvel, but its astonishing story begins over 350 years ago with a single lens. What if I told you that this breakthrough wasn't even accomplished by a formally trained scientist? Instead, most credit goes to a curious Dutch draper and amateur lens grinder named Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Yes, that's right. A man selling cloth in the 17th century inadvertently became the father of microbiology. How, you ask? Well, the answer is equal parts intrigue, perseverance, and a little twist of destiny. The setting is Delft, Holland, a bustling city humming with trade, art, and innovation. Leeuwenhoek was born into this tapestry in 1632. By no means could anyone have predicted his historic impact. He didn't study at a prestigious university or come from a family of scholars. He was an ordinary man with an extraordinary obsession: lenses. Leeuwenhoek wasn't interested in just crafting functional tools for his textile business. He wanted to master the art of magnification itself. He toiled for years, grinding and polishing glass with painstaking attention to detail, experimenting ceaselessly until he achieved unheard-of levels of clarity and magnification. His microscopes, some of which were no larger than a matchbook, were deceptively simple, consisting of just a single lens mounted on a tiny frame. But in the hands of their maker, these tiny instruments unlocked a world no one had ever imagined. What did Leeuwenhoek find? The tiniest actors in the drama of life itself. Prepare to have your mind blown as we dive into his discoveries. A world-changing revelation struck in 1674 when Leeuwenhoek trained his lens on a drop of pond water. What he saw, what startled him, were minuscule creatures darting, swirling, and spinning in all directions. Animalcules, he called them, his term for what we now know as microorganisms. Imagine the disbelief he felt, gazing into an inconceivable new dimension of life. And that's just the beginning. Over the years, Leeuwenhoek turned his lens upon almost everything he could find: scrapings of his teeth, rainwater, blood, and bodily fluids. Think of him as a one-man army exploring a terra incognita. At times, it seemed bizarre or downright crazy. His contemporaries often greeted his observations with skepticism. But Leeuwenhoek persisted, mastering meticulous techniques to record his findings, and even sending letters to the Royal Society of London. He was not recognized as a scholar, yet his words and drawings, sealed with his relentless passion, convinced some of the greatest minds of Europe. From his descriptions, it becomes profoundly clear just how far-reaching his work was. He discovered erythrocytes, or red blood cells, setting the stage for hematology. He studied spermatozoa, opening a whole new chapter in the study of reproduction. He even observed bacteria before anyone could grasp what bacteria truly were. The man was living centuries ahead of his time, documenting life as it could never before have been witnessed. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Without Leeuwenhoek, our understanding of disease might still be in its infancy. Think about it. Before the microscope, plagues and illnesses were often blamed on divine wrath or mysterious humors in the air. Leeuwenhoek showed us that an invisible kingdom connects us all, for better or worse. Though he may not have fully understood the implications of his discoveries, it was his curiosity and drive that lit the path toward modern medicine, germ theory, and antibiotics. In essence, he launched humanity's battle against unseen killers. Today, we think of microscopes as essential tools of science classrooms and research labs. Their precision and sophistication have grown 1,000-fold, but the dream of such innovation began humbly. It began in Delft. It began with Antony van Leeuwenhoek's solitary workbench. You might be scrolling on your phone or tablet right now, a marvel of modern technology. But stop for a moment to consider what your health and understanding of biology owe to that single lens. Let's pause to reflect not just on Leeuwenhoek, but on the greater theme here, the power of curiosity. The world wasn't changed by someone who was told to do something. It was changed by someone driven by wonder, a person who dared to ask, what if? Overcoming the ridicule and skepticism of his peers, Leeuwenhoek stayed committed to his quest for the sake of knowledge alone. That is where progress is born, isn't it? So the next time you glance through a microscope or read about a medical breakthrough, spare a thought for Antoni van Leeuwenhoek. His journey proves that you don't need an elaborate title or even societal approval to change the course of human history. All you need is the courage to look deeper, to wonder what lies beyond the surface. This has been Chronicles of Human History, where the small stories make an epic impact. If you were inspired by this tale of discovery and perseverance, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating history. Until the next adventure, keep asking, keep wondering, and never stop exploring the marvels of our world.